The football recruiting dead period is going on right now, and that's why Jim Harbaugh is in vacation in Italy. A lot of coaches are taking time off, but they see social media guys are making commitments and decommitments. The number one commitment on Michigan's board was Raylan Wilson, a linebacker from Florida, but he decommitted earlier in the week. All indications are he's going to end up in Georgia. Notre Dame just got another four-star receiver that was debating coming to the University of Michigan. They announced him. Michigan State will have another four-star commit announced probably at noon today. King Mack, I think safety from St. Aquinas, Florida, in Fort Lauderdale at the high school. And Michigan really looks like they're not going to. They did not get C.J. Carr, but that was for 2024's class. He committed to Notre Dame. Allegedly, that's all. He just did not want to be in Ann Arbor. Who knows if that's completely true or not. Also, it looks like that Oregon is going to get Dante Moore, the kid from King. Although he's not tipping his hand, but all the crystal balls that all these recruiting services give out has him going to Oregon. So we look at the rankings right now, and it's somewhat alarming. And the question I have for Michigan fans, how troublesome is this? So the top five in the country: Notre Dame, Texas, Ohio State, Clemson, and Penn State. The rest of the Big Ten, okay? So I stopped at Penn State being 5. Northwestern is 10. Rutgers 19. This is from 24/7 Rivals. Purdue is 20th. Iowa is 27th. Michigan State is 28th, and they'll probably go up after the MAC deal comes through today. Nebraska 38. Michigan 64th. Now, Alabama, I believe, is 24th right now, so that's not going to stay the same. So things, obviously, Alabama's 23rd. So things will move. Michigan will get some commits. They're not going to stay at 64. But this, I think, is alarming. Even at this juncture, that is the end of June.
Yeah.
Signing day is early December. But where Michigan is ranked below, I mean below, Central Michigan at 45th and Western at 56, you got yourself a problem. And I don't know if it's just the NIL thing where they can't figure out how to make it better. Their collectives are not as well together as some of these other schools, whether that's a big deal. We know you've heard me talk about the transfer portal ad nauseum, how they've made it so difficult for them to improve, with the exception of like graduate transfers, like the center they have this year from Virginia. And also, the fact that Jim Harbaugh, National Signing Day last year, was in Minnesota trying to get the Vikings job. That was not a real good look, and I don't know how much that hurt when recruiting for this class. Parents might have been upset that there was stuff going on. I was reading some things about the Dante Moore recruitment, and he got along great with Harbaugh. He just does not have it's gotten better, but he doesn't have a great relationship with Matt Weiss, who's not considered a really good recruiter. That's just not his personality. Well, that stuff hurts. So right now, and, the whole transformational, transactional quote that Harbaugh made, it just leads to believe, whether you want to believe it or not, it leads me to believe that, A, Michigan is using the damn arrogance and it's hurting them. We're Michigan. We don't need all this other crap. Well, you know what? You do. And I know, John, you probably disagree with me. As long as you get good players, 3-star players, some 4 stars, you're going to be okay, especially if they stay in school for a long time.
No, my argument is going to be it's just way too early to start making these judgments because these rankings go by total points. And Michigan right now has 6 commitments. If you look at Ohio State, I think they got like 13. You brought up Central Michigan. They have 19. And it's total points. So they just simply don't have as many commitments right now as all of these other teams. But when it comes down to it in December, they will have the commitments. Now, are they going to make up enough ground? Yeah, sure, they'll surpass, Rutgers. They'll surpass Central Michigan. They'll surpass a lot of these schools. But the question is going to be, how do they compete with Ohio State, Penn State, and probably most importantly would be Ohio State, but Michigan State.
Yeah.
With what Mel Tucker is doing there. Now, if you're looking and you're comparing these, they have 10 commitments to Michigan's 6. So it's that's where you start to see all of these discrepancies at this time of year. If we get into October and that discrepancy is still there, that's a big issue.
But shouldn't the fact that they're coming off their best season in eons, winning their first Big Ten championship in a long time, going to the college football playoff, this shouldn't be a problem. They shouldn't be losing recruits to, with all due respect, Notre Dame and some of these other schools.
Well, but what we don't know is what goes on behind the scenes is there are other guys that they are targeting.
I know.
And when they make their commitments, simply because they haven't made their commitment yet doesn't mean that they won't. This is just way too early to be making all of these judgments. And am I naive enough to think that NIL's not playing a part in this? Hell yeah, it is. The transfer portal. Yeah, but I mean, in the context we're talking about, the transfer portal means nothing.
Right.
Because this is all incoming freshmen.
Correct.
But that's all a part of the where Michigan is right now. And yes,
they have to get out of the freaking Stone Age.
Is there a drag on their recruiting? Could it be, instead of 6 commitments, could it be 9? Should be 7. They just lost one. Could it be 11 or 12 coming off, as you mentioned, the best season that they've had in a long time? Yeah. And the things that are dragging it down is Jim Harbaugh flirting with the NFL and
You
NIL.
definitely think that was a problem.
Yeah, I said it at the time.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, and he's doing everything he can now in terms of the players, how the current players on the roster, they're a large part of recruiting. When Jim flirted with the Minnesota Vikings and the NFL, from what we understand and from what I understand and talking to the players and obviously talking to Jim, is that he was very honest with the players about what he was doing, so there was no secrets. It doesn't take away the fact that he had this ambition.
Yeah.
And it's not wrong that he had the ambition of going to the NFL.
But it hurt.
But it does hurt
it hurts
when you get into recruiting. There's no question about it.
Yes.